This is all I got. This is all I got. Don't take my baby, okay? I've been away from my baby for 2 months. I just want my baby. And no one's listening because no one's in the courtroom. I'm not doing anything illegal. But I don't want nobody. Oh my God, am I doing something illegal by doing this video, or am I protected by the First Right Amendment or the amendment? Don't take my baby. I'm at $13,000 a month. What more do you want from me?
Is the group ready to accept CosmeRNA as snake oil? It is sad that members are finally starting to wake up to the great hair loss scam of 2023. Review my posts in May. I made clear multiple times that this company, Bioneer, and CosmeRNA are obvious frauds. I was ridiculed, cursed out, and downvoted by other members. Then came the Photoshop fraud, the emails from the company saying that no shedding will occur with its product, when the majority of members in the forum, including me, experienced it, not honoring the refund policy, leading to PayPal disputes, flooding this forum with fake shareholder comments, fake Amazon reviews, and alleged before and after images from studies that look identical, meaning no improvement. If forum members again go bonkers over this reality check, so be it. Otherwise, I will continue to monitor the daily posts of disappointed users and see whether the group finally accepts by October that this product is snake oil and the company should be charged with deceptive trade practices. Hopefully, my post saved a few desperate souls from wasting their money on this product and time with much more reliable solutions.
Can we just stop posting this daily until it's been 6 months already, Christ's sake? Just wait and gloat at an appropriate time. This non-stop OMG, it's been released for 3 weeks. And people don't have full manes of hair yet. Everyone with poor grammar is Korean. I'm right, look at me, validate me, Jesus. A few more months is all any sane person requires now.
So, when 6 months hits, am I allowed to tear it to pieces, or will the goalposts be moved to later date?
6 months has always been the marker for assessing treatments, so 6 months suffices.
Retarded post.
It's still too early to form an opinion. You have to wait at least 6 months or even 9 months. Some users seem to report stopping their hair loss, and that too on forums other than Reddit.
No, they never will. The reason because they can't. The main reason people are here is due to having sides on Fiverr and simply can't grapple with going bald. Hence, they've placed their hope in this obscure and shady product, batting an eye to every red flag that pops up. I honestly wouldn't be surprised if this sub still exists years from now, with people claiming it, at the very least slowed their hair loss. This would just be further cope, but as I say, when you feed pigs slop, they'll eat shit.
Can we bend this guy?
6 months later.
Well, it's been 6 months since Bioneer, the pharmaceutical company that created CosmeRNA, released it to the European market and also globally. And well, now we've reached this milestone, this half-year mark, 6 months, which many hair loss treatment studies use as a benchmark for assessing treatment effectiveness. And we've yet to see anyone post images on the CosmeRNA subreddit showing convincing progress. Sure, we got photos here and there, but they're often from new accounts seemingly created just for that purpose. Nothing weird about that, right? Of course there's something weird about that. An account that has just been made that posts a progress photo and then it dips out of nowhere. That doesn't seem suspicious to you? Okay, maybe I'm being a conspiracy theorist. I think that's what my handle is on the CosmeRNA subreddit. But let's look at that a bit critically, because later on I'm going to remind you guys of a bit of a shady, tactic that Bioneer did when referencing Reddit. But yeah, going back to the photos that we do have are usually taken from poor angles under bad lighting conditions, and hell, some photos even have the hair styled differently. So if we didn't get progress pictures during this time period or evidence of this thing actually working, what did we get instead? Unfortunately, during this time period, we've witnessed more red flags than reports with evidence of improvement. We mustn't forget that during this time, Bioneer deliberately chose to Photoshop and doctor hair loss progress photos. After being exposed for photoshopping a progress photo, Bioneer was forced to remove it from their website completely. And by the way, they didn't give any sort of apology like, hey guys, we messed up by photoshopping our before and after results. That's supposed to show the efficacy of our product. So instead of us actually using pictures from our own trials, our own clinical trials, we thought that, you know, it would be better to Photoshop, but we made a mistake, we're sorry. We didn't get a sorry from Bioneer. They just quietly swept it under the rug. The fabrication of progress photos is one thing, although it's really, really bad, especially in this context when we're trying to see if this anti-hair loss drug actually slows down hair loss, reverses it, or halts it. That's one thing, and it is still bad. But what also is equally as shady and also worrying for the people who actually bought CosmeRNA were the frequent updates to their website. Bioneer updated their CosmeRNA product website several times with different recommended frequencies of product use, seemingly without any publicly available clinical trial data to back up their new claims. Now, granted, Bioneer did publish a primary study on how their CosmeRNA product works in the Nature Scientific Reports publication, not to be confused with the prestigious journal Nature, but this is more of a research paper archive that merely presents new research. Bioneer claims that another company named Dermatest helped them conduct a second study. However, the results of such a study have never been posted. This lack of transparency makes me question the legitimacy of the second study. With all of the updates made to the dosing and frequency of use of this product, one has to wonder, if this second study had been released, would Bioneer have made these frequent updates? And this is an important question to ask along with a host of other questions, because after all, people who are buying CosmeRNA are spending around 300 euros. I mentioned this earlier, the thing about the new Reddit accounts seemingly spawning out of nowhere to show their progress CosmeRNA, pictures or whatever. Well, another issue arose when a representative from Bioneer told a South Korean newspaper that CosmeRNA was becoming popular on Reddit, with many users purportedly showing progress. This statement I proved false in one of my older videos regarding this topic. You guys can check it out on the channel, but using Reddit's API and some programming knowledge, I was able to search across all of Reddit for posts that contained CosmeRNA in various types, or case types, I guess you can say. And what I found was mostly textual discussions and debates. The photos were often a mix of the same poorly shot ones or reposts of those photos and or photos from CosmeRNA's promotional website. I've called out CosmeRNA on this, and I've also made a post about this on Reddit as well, but honestly, some people just thought it was bullshit. They didn't care. They still wanted to live in their cope wonderland and still use that CosmeRNA product. But I think right there, that goes to show how shady Bioneer is, right? They're overstating their presence on Reddit in the hopes that they can possibly win investment dollars from people who aren't really aware of what Reddit is. Maybe some old head boomer who has a shit ton of money. Some South Korean old head boomer has a shit ton of money who's just like throwing money into whatever. Why they would lie about something that's so easily verifiable is beyond me. I can't explain that. All we do know is that they lied. They especially lied about their overwhelming presence, their popularity that's been gaining on Reddit. Gaining? I think the appropriate term here would be waning, but that would imply that you had a substantial popularity for the product to begin with. So I'm just being a bit more critical here, a bit more, I guess you could say, targeted to Bioneer at this point, more so than their product now, because it's showing a host of deceptive practices. If we take a look at the trials, the clinical trial, I guess you can say, that CosmeRNA went under in the initial Nature Scientific Reports study that was published, it had poor methodologies, notably failing to distinguish between changes in terminal hair counts and vellus hair counts. Instead, the researchers lumped them together and they started claiming that they saw an overall increase in total hair count. Now, this is problematic because terminal hairs are long, thick, pigmented, and visible hairs, whereas vellus hairs are fine, thin, and sometimes nearly transparent hairs, like they're colorless. A product that increases vellus hairs without significantly affecting terminal hairs won't make visible progress in combating hair thinning. So where you might get an increase in vellus hairs, you can advertise, well, our product increased hairs or total hair count by 300%, but in reality, who knows, maybe the dude took a haircut, or you've had patients cut their hair and that vellus hair that already existed before is just growing back in. So now you're like, oh, our product did this, right? Our product grew back these vellus hairs. Even though they're vellus hairs, now you're going to claim that, oh, well, these new hairs, because we're not gonna call these vellus hairs for the sake of marketing. These new hairs came back because of our product. No, first off, they're vellus. Second, an increase in vellus hairs doesn't do much for us. So it's just, this product was just bad overall. I don't even know what else to say. It was just a bad product, and people put a shit ton of money into Bioneer. You know, there is a degree of deception going on in their marketing practices, and what is especially clear in regards to deception is that Photoshop that they did. So I can't really blame the consumers. A lot of these people who are using CosmeRNA are using it because Bioneer made some claims before stating that CosmeRNA could be a near potential substitute for finasteride. And there are, you know, some people who have symptoms from finasteride. And even if those symptoms are nocebo effect, nevertheless, they're still symptoms. Okay, their nocebo effect symptoms are more so psychosomatic, but I would still consider that a symptom for the simple fact that it's affecting the patient while they're on finasteride. So a lot of these dudes, they wanted to find an alternative, and they turned to Bioneer's CosmeRNA. And I can see the resistance to try to accept reality that this product isn't working as it is, and they're just going to keep shelling money and wasting their money when they could put it into something that actually does work. So that's pretty much it, just talking about the product. Guys, if you haven't already, go check out my older videos on CosmeRNA, or just watch this one and not worry about using it. Just don't waste your time, all right? Do yourself a favor. Do not waste your time with CosmeRNA. Also, a quick message to the moderators of the CosmeRNA subreddit. Blocking users who share their criticism of the product and labeling a company dishonest for faking progress photos is counterproductive. I can't fathom why moderators would defend such a company to the extent of discrediting people's accounts by tagging them as conspiracy theorists or complainers. Not only is this immature, but it's also strange given that a subreddit moderator shouldn't act as if they're some sort of unpaid Bioneer intern. I don't know, as if they're some sort of intern for Bioneer defending the company against criticism. Why they're doing that, I have no idea. Maybe they're also people who had symptoms to finasteride, so they're trying to rationalize in their head that, you know, this product worked for me, and any sort of criticism that comes to it, I'm feeling harmed by such criticisms, so I'm just gonna lash out by discrediting the people that criticize CosmeRNA. And there's this particular moderator who gives this like illusion of being impartial, where he criticizes people that, you know, who are anti-CosmeRNA, and he criticizes people who are pro-CosmeRNA. But when your criticism of the anti-CosmeRNA crowd is pretty much, well, yeah, it worked for me, so, you know, this works for other people and may not have worked for you. Why are you spreading all this hate and such? If that's like your essential criticism, I don't really care about anything else you have to say, to be honest with you. At that point, it goes in one ear, out the other. Because if you're going to ignore the fact that this company has a poor study methodology, did not take into account terminal hair versus vellus hair, photoshopped their damn progress pictures, has yet to release their second study that they claim will answer a bunch of these things that they've been doing, and finally, just never had any sort of clear line of communication with its customers. Like, people can be irrational when they're angry. They can say things that are inflammatory, but let's not pretend as if they're angry for no reason. Anyone that spends 300 euros, you are coming in with the expectation, especially when this company is, you know, giving all these sort of advertisements that are deceptive to the public. Your expectation is going to be set that high. If this company wanted to lower this kind of backlash, maybe they should have been more reasonable with the progress photos that they showed. And maybe they shouldn't have ever dared to be as deceptive as they were with that Photoshop edit. Anyway, that's the end of this video. This is probably the last time I'll talk about CosmeRNA. Who knows? If something substantial comes up, then maybe I'll talk about either CosmeRNA or Bioneer, the pharmaceutical company that created CosmeRNA. But other than that, it's kaput. Well, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you on the next video. Peace out, guys.